Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Evil Lives Here. This is a docuseries of, is it National? No, it's not National Geographic. I don't know who made it. Feels like it could have been A&E or the History Channel. It started in 2016. It has like 19 full seasons as far as I can tell. They waver between 7 and 12 or so episodes per season. Disney Plus currently has 15 seasons. And yeah, I only watched one episode, and it is not an easy watch. So this looks like, oh, this is the promo for a horror film from Blumhouse or something. Blumhouse, whatever. Either way, it is a little overly dramatized. There's no narrator. It is literally, at least in the first one, the parents of a young man who grew up a little bit different. In fact, it's called something's different about Robbie. Now, if I saw that face for a second, you might recognize it, especially if you're in from Omaha, Nebraska. This deals with people, and again, the title is overly dramatic in how it's depicted, but it's not too far from how people might perceive these people to be. It doesn't just deal with kids who are. I don't want to minimize this or just gloss over it as something like he's mentally ill. He's, and certainly not something flip like he's sick in the head or anything. But when there are tragedies, when there are acts of violence, when there is things we do not understand, how could somebody do something like that? What was going through their head? Why would they do something like that when they, to themselves or others? Especially when it's somebody that you're very close to, and somebody that is in your own family, and that is what this is about. This is people, a series about people who shared a home with people that could be perceived as evil. In Robbie's case, he seemed to have tantrums, loud, wild tantrums from an early age. They do dramatizations in between the interviews, so it's mostly the real people who were involved with it. In this case, the mother and the father, and she's talking to somebody off camera. In fact, both mother and father are talking separately off camera. In fact, this is the first time that either of them had been directly interviewed about their experience, which happened nearly 20 years ago in 2007. But from a young age, Robbie would act, it's just kids. Kids are just brats sometimes. Kids are just mean. Sometimes they're just loud. Sometimes they just don't get their way and they throw a tantrum. And that's just how it is. Deal with it, mom and dad. And yeah, be a parent. But there's some cases, and I've seen this with some kids, that it goes a little bit further. It's not just, oh, I didn't get my way. It is an outburst to rival and nothing that you've seen with other kids. There's sometimes kids who are just a little bit different. And not to say that there's something inherently wrong with them at all. And in every one of these situations, you get the feeling that, is there anything as a parent I could do differently to make things better for my child? At least, again, in this case, it is parents dealing with a child. There's other situations where it's people dealing with siblings or parents. There's somebody running a cult. There's just all sorts of different types of scenarios. This one, I don't want to give too much of the details on. It was upsetting enough to watch. I can't watch any more of them. There's nothing that really interests me in just seeing the darkest depths of humanity. Maybe if I was studying it and seeing, but at the same time, while it doesn't try to push you along a narrative to say, these people are evil, right? Yeah, go and check out how evil they are. They're not doing that in this. It frames them in a way with the recreations who, by the way, the actors they picked for the first episode, they look dead on like the real people. I for a minute there I thought they got the people to act their own lives, but the young woman who played the mom, they just styled her hair and she played the same. She looked the same when the child was 4 and also when the child was like 18. So yeah, it's great to show her that she doesn't age. But yeah, it's nothing too light about. I imagine any of these stories, but you get to the point where you have a kid that gets so out of control, who makes threats, who is violent in some cases, that you don't know what to do. What can you do? And then when it leads to something that many feel is inevitable and it's not, but it feels like, oh, how could we have not seen this coming? It's you go, what could I have done? What could I have done differently? You can't say sorry enough to the people who suffered at the hands of someone clearly disturbed by something. Again, there's nothing to explain. There's nothing that can explain it adequately, at least to anyone or everyone's satisfaction. And this starts out by presenting the end result in a vague way. I imagine each episode is similar to this. This one started out. The first one started out with fire engines and ambulances showing up at a mall, and quick clips of mom and dad talking to the camera, lines that we would revisit later in the story, and then they quick jump back to a story of a young family raising kids, and Robbie at the center of it. He was creative, fun. He's everything a kid you expect a 4-year-old to be. And then he gets a little bit. He has tantrums. Kids have tantrums, and then he goes to school and throws a chair at somebody. Gets him kicked out of school. And things get worse from there over the years. They get better, so too, and then they get worse. So this sort of is meant to present what these parents saw, and honestly, it is horrendously heartbreaking to see a dad break down, who tried to do everything he could to save his son. And you kind of get used to hearing people talk about certain other people in the past tense, and you get an idea of what kind of went down until they tell it all. The only interaction between the parents who are being interviewed is text that comes up on the screen and say, well, she says, oh, I thought everything was going to be fine, and then the text says, well, turns out mom couldn't be more wrong. So it's a little strange in that, and it does build every so often to a commercial break and then comes back and sort of slightly restates what just happened since the commercial break. That always throws off the rhythm for me. That just shows that it feels sensationalized when it need not be. And again, it's not a news program. It's not technically a documentary. It is an insight as to the things that happened, and the people, how they were affected. So yeah, okay, it's a documentary in a sense, but I'd say watch this with caution. Watch this if you have somebody in your life that you know who has dealt with this. Again, there's more scenarios than what I watched in the first episode of the first season. So yeah, there you might identify with some of these things. You might know people in your life who are just acting a little bit strange that you cannot put your finger on, and if you see the signs, and also if you are a victim of such violence or threats or things like that, if you're able to report it. Just report it. No consequences. But yeah, you don't have to take the abuse. You don't have to take. You don't. When you see something like that, talk to somebody. And it helps to have people to work with you to figure these things out, rather than trying to do it on your own. And some people will protect those who are a danger to themselves and others. They'll do everything they can to protect them, not caring that there is potential danger in play to everyone. Again, not everybody's story is the same, but yeah, this is not an easy watch. It seems strange that it's on Disney Plus, but yeah, and it's not because of Hulu, right? No, it's not. I have Hulu back now, by the way, and so this is going to make things a lot more difficult and confusing. So I don't have the warning of saying, no, you don't have Hulu, so you can't watch these things. Oh, okay, fine. But so yeah, it's get the hankies out in some cases, a lot of cases, I imagine. But yeah, it's most of all, this is what this is even though you see it coming because it's set up in a TV show that you know is 44 minutes long. Not every sign is so clear, and you would think that there's no such thing. You would never imagine a child would grow up to do the things that he did. Or a brother or a sister or a father or mother or a cousin or your local cult leader. You never imagine that they would do that. But unfortunately, we are a complicated bunch, and that is as flippant as I'm going to get about this. So definitely check it out if you can stomach it. It's personally not for me, but it exists. Oh, you know what? Let's pick tomorrow's episode. Something brighter and funner. 8. Well, there we go. This is a bit brighter and funner. These are a bunch of shorts. We have very few shorts left. But we're going to watch these. We probably might watch all of them because I think they are really short. It's a spin-off of Phineas and Ferb. We have Agent P under C. Not sure what that means, but it's probably Perry. I don't know who C is. We'll find out. Okay, let's shake all this bad juju off. Let's shake. Don't know anything about juju, but let's just shake off this darkness and get ready for Agent P under C on the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.